Hello everybody, the Quiet Atheist here coming at you with another interesting video today. Now, it appears to me that someone needs to be put in their place. Believe me, this is the last time that I am going to respond to this individual. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I cannot stand liars, I cannot stand hypocrites, and I cannot stand people who create false arguments and accuse me of making them. People have been doing this to me for years, and I have always remained silent about it, up until now. I am not going to remain silent any longer. I'm going to start calling people out on their bullshit because it needs to be done. It has to be done. Otherwise, people are going to continue to think that they can basically walk all over me. No, I don't think so. So, yes, Curas1, I am calling you out for the second time. Now, in the beginning, I basically thought that this was going to be a waste of my time. I have to be honest here. I almost didn't make this video, but I decided to do it. Now, Curas1, your arguments, your foundation, and your morality regarding the subject that we are going to discuss here are flawed. And personally, I think that it's kind of sad when I have to point these things out to you. It seems to me that you lack the ability to admit that you're wrong. So let's get into this shit and let's get it over with.
Alright, Curious here, and apparently I'm in the hot seat now.
First of all, do you even know why you are in the hot seat? Now, for over a year now, you have been coming to my channel every time I make a video about the LGBTQ community, and you have basically left nothing but anti LGBTQ comments. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear right now. You are well within your right to do these things. Just know I'm going to call you out on this bullshit. You have a right to speak, and I have a right to call you out on it. Simple. You were the one that took it upon yourself to release a ridiculous comment on my video the other day. In fact, I talked about that comment in the first video I made to you. Now, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with this, I will leave a link in the description to the previous video about this.
Um, the Quiet Atheist put me on blast, and I think he gave a title description that I think was misleading.
Now, after you guys basically saw those comments, does it look like I misled any of you in any way? I don't think so.
And I would like to clear up my supposed anti LGBT ideas.
There is absolutely nothing to clear up here. It has already been demonstrated that you are wrong right from the beginning. Just wanted you to know that.
And I, I can't say it's totally misleading, because I do hold some ideas about identity politics.
Wait a minute. First, you say that it's totally misleading.
The Quiet Atheist put me on blast, and I think he gave a title description that I think was misleading.
Now you say that it's not too misleading? It seems to me that you are contradicting yourself here. So when you admit that it is not too misleading, you are in fact letting everyone know that you are anti LGBTQ. Hey, you are the one painting the picture here. I am just letting everyone look at it, plain and simple. So let's talk about two definitions here because I actually think that they are extremely important, especially when they apply to this discussion that we are having. Now, one will be for identity politics and the other will be for human rights. So, identity politics is as follows: a tendency for people of a particular religion, race, social background, etc., to form exclusive political alliances, moving away from traditional broad based party politics. Now, one for human rights: rights that are believed to belong justifiably to every person. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do see two very different meanings here. Here's how it goes, okay, Curas1? People have a right to love each other and spend the rest of their lives together. People have a right to have children in their families. It doesn't matter if people are gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. They are human beings and they have the same exact rights. That is what matters, and that is what needs to be talked about. So there is no room for identity politics here because it simply does not apply objectively. You are subjectively applying it because you do not like the fact that the LGBTQ community has a right, like everyone else, to enjoy their lives. You have stated this many times. A lot of people have seen what you have said. You cannot sit here and lie your way out of this one. It's as simple as that. It's not going to work at all in any way, shape, or form.
I don't see why people should be protected by their group identities.
So let's get into the definition of group identity. Now, group identification is defined as member identification with an interacting group and is distinguished conceptually from social identity, cohesion, and common fate. While it is their right to be a part of a group that they can actually identify with, it goes much deeper than that, especially when it falls into the realm of human rights, Curas1. They have a right to get married, they have a right to even get cakes from bakeries, and they have the right to live their lives the same way everyone else does. They are human beings like everyone else, and they should be treated as such. That is my whole fucking argument here. In a nutshell, one of the common arguments that I get all of the time is that since a lot of bakeries in America are privately owned, they can basically serve who they want. And you know, that is true, but there is a line that cannot be crossed. For instance, if a person from the LGBTQ community walks into a bakery and they are denied service because they are gay, that is discrimination. Last time I checked, that was against the law. Why? Because that bakery owner has took it upon themselves to violate said person's rights at that point. It's against the law. Now, if someone is causing problems, sure, kick them out. However, one does not have the right to violate another human being's rights because their sexual orientation hurts their feels. That is fucking ridiculous. Not to mention retarded. They are being protected because they are human beings, Curas1. That is important, like you and me. Now I know that this may trigger you, but it is the truth regardless, and the truth doesn't care about how you feel.
It's arbitrary, and when you get right down to it, it's regressive in its own way.
Acceptance, social development, and human rights are not regressive, Curas1. What you are proposing is regressive. You are basically wanting to take away the rights of the LGBTQ community, and you are taking it upon yourself to disguise it as something else entirely. It's almost like you are a Republican here. I mean, let's be real here.
And since this is a social networking site, I think it's a real shame that I have to worry about my channel possibly getting flagged down that I've had since 2008 because I have a view.
Oh boy, Curas1, you are really getting pathetic here. Now, remember when you and I first started to interact here on YouTube? I think that you know my position when it comes to free speech. Now, I have specifically stated many fucking times that people might have ideas that I may not like, but they are well within their right to have a platform. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nobody is going to go strike down your channel. I don't recommend anybody to strike down your channel because you say something that I don't like. That is fucking ridiculous. Now, what you actually did here was completely ignore what I said and continued with this alleged censorship. This is preposterous, and I really wish that you would pay attention to what I have to say in the future. Because that's how conversations work, Curas1.
What happened to the melting pot? What happened to freaking being a unified culture? Aren't we all supposed to be Americans?
Guess what, Curas1? We do have a melting pot. We have people from all cultures here in this country. One thing is for certain, though, we are not unified at all in any way, shape, or form. Why? Well, the answer is simple. We have people like you, and we have people who are far worse than you who don't want unification. You have even said it yourself. Homosexuality is a perversion. That is something that you have said. Does that sound like someone wanting unification for this country? Does that sound like someone who wants a melting pot? No, it doesn't.
That's why I never understood things like Jim Crow and all of that this other stuff like that.
So basically now we are getting into Jim Crow laws. Now sometimes, as in Florida, part of state constitutions mandated the segregation of public schools, public places, and public transportation, and the segregation of restrooms, restaurants, and drinking fountains for whites and blacks. Back then, Curas1, they were basically denying people the right to use the same public schools with everyone else. They were doing the same with public places, public transportation, restrooms, restaurants, and last but not least, drinking fountains. Why? Because these racist assholes didn't like black people. Essentially, they were denying black people their human rights and identity as human beings. Now, Curas1, I want you to pay close attention to what I am about to say. You are basically saying the same shit that these racist people were saying in the past. Only difference is it involves the LGBTQ community. Now, when I made videos in the past about trans people being kicked out of bathrooms in public that they normally identify with, I would be angry because I would see trans people being treated like garbage, like they are less than human. Guess what I would see in the comment section of those videos, Curas1? You. I saw you basically parroting the same talking points that other conservatives have, essentially denying trans people their, and I do want to put emphasis on this, Curas1, identity and human rights. Do you see the similarities here that you have with those racist people back in the day? Now, I want to make something perfectly clear before you make a straw man out of this one. I am not accusing you of being racist. I just noticed other behaviors of yours that are similar to those douchebags back in the day.
Who cares if someone owns land or marries outside their race or anything like that?
Who cares if a man wants to marry a man? Who cares if a woman wants to marry a woman? Who cares if a trans person wants to marry a trans person? Who cares if a trans person wants to use the bathroom that they identify with? They are well within their right to do these things, and that is something that you do need to respect as a human being. Whether you like it or not, you need to respect the fact that they have the rights to do the things that they want to do.
But today, everything is freaking this group thing. And it's scary. It really is like communism.
See what I mean, guys? Curas1 thinks that equality and human rights are communism.
Pink communism.
See, guys, not only does he say that equality and human rights for the LGBTQ community are communism, he also takes it upon himself to insult the LGBTQ community by saying it's pink communism. Equality and human rights are pink communism.
That's what I call it. Pink communists with the pinko commie freaking meatheads. Eh, Why shouldn't I be able to freaking question freaking LGBTQIACGYGO freaking ideals? It's stupid.
You have a right, Curas1, to basically question anything that you want. It's your right. Just know that there are going to be people out there like me that will actually challenge you. Plain and simple, because I do support equality. I do support human rights when it comes to the LGBTQ community. And that's how I feel about it, whether you like it or not. So there you have it, guys. You guys actually know what Curas1's actual position is when it comes to the LGBTQ community. And I do apologize for taking so long with this video. He had a lot of things that he wanted to say in his video that he made towards me. And I just basically cut out the things that I actually wanted to respond to. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Please, I am really interested in seeing what you guys have to say about this.